I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Wednesday.
How's the legislator going to screw things up today? Always a question.
News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver.
A big welcome to all of our new listeners on AM 1460, AM, that is, and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show. We're going to get insight on what's happening down at the Colorado State Capitol. Ty Winter, Assistant Minority Leader, is going to join us. Battles brewing already over ICE, over law enforcement, over gun bills, all of it happening down there.
Right.
Taxes, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was just wondering, we were talking about debt last time. It's, well, where are the things making my life cheaper? That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the priorities there.
That is not the place where that happens.
Yeah.
In fact, the exact opposite happens. We'll talk with Ty Winter. He is trying to fight back down there. He'll get us the latest insight. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good Wednesday morning, 28 and sunny in Denver, 27 in the Springs. Expecting highs in the low 50s today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, Renee Good's brothers are pushing for change in illegal immigration enforcement. Luke and Brent Ganger appeared on Capitol Hill Tuesday at a hearing on the disproportionate use of force by DHS agents. Luke Ganger told the committee that their family had hoped Renee's death would bring about change in the country, but it hasn't. Well, a lot of us believe she may have been trying to run over an agent who shot her. Border Czar Tom Homan says 700 agents are being drawn down immediately as ICE continues operations in Minnesota.
Again, a complete drawdown is going to depend on the cooperation, continued cooperation of local and state law enforcement and the decrease of the violence, the rhetoric, and the attacks against ICE and Border Patrol.
The use of tear gas at anti-ICE protests in Portland is being restricted by a federal leftist judge who's a federal leftist, yes, in Oregon. That's a good idea, isn't it?
So the rioters were caring about the rioters,
yeah,
and whether or not it hurts their eyeballs.
Yeah, that's
during
right.
During the riot.
Oh, exactly. So that judge ruled Tuesday the DHS has been using excessive force outside the Portland ICE building.
Yeah.
That's a really great place to visit right now. Hasn't been nice for 30 years. The search for the missing mother of Today host Savannah Guthrie is in its fourth day in southern Arizona. They've been looking into the authenticity of an alleged ransom note that demands payment for the release of Nancy Guthrie. President Trump is repeating his call for the federal government to nationalize elections. DJT says if the states can't run elections fairly, then the federal government should get involved.
There's a lot of funding in one of the spending bills. Now, this was 5 bills wrapped up into one vote, and one of these bills was particularly egregious.
Congresswoman Lauren Boebert on with Jeff and Bill this morning. The federal government shutdown has ended. The House narrowly passed a spending package, but Boebert didn't vote for the Fed slot because of some abortion and transgender garbage in it.
And this is not something that I could put a yes vote to. So unfortunately, when that piece of legislation is wrapped up with everything else, it's really hard to vote for everything else as a whole. I am happy that the DHS was funded yesterday, but I would have loved to have seen that vote happen individually and separate that out.
DHS will operate on a 2-week stopgap bill as the lefties continue to attack it. The man found guilty of trying to assassinate DJT in Florida will be sentenced today. Ryan Ruth was found guilty last year. In September of 24, Ruth was arrested, you'll remember, after he was spotted hiding in shrubbery near Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach, ready to assassinate him, I'm sure. AJ Gentile, love listening to this guy. On with Tucker talking about the bones of giants found, like in Genesis, turned into the Smithsonian and have been suppressed, hidden from us for decades and decades.
Yes, there's documentary evidence that the Smithsonian has received bones and large coffins from not that long ago. We're talking maybe the 50s or 60s. And as recently as the 80s, people have been trying to get access to this information, but they're stonewalled or they just don't have it. And there was one case where the Smithsonian said, yes, we did receive the bones, but we don't know where they are.
Oh, man, that's fascinating.
Where are the rest of them?
I don't know,
Well,
but
what I mean by
I
that
need
is,
to see them.
I'm super skeptical in this one, only because, one, the Smithsonian does not control all global archaeology digs and finds, and my guess is that if a group of archaeologists, of which there are tens of thousands, elsewhere in the world, working with a different company, finds bones of giants, pretty sure they're holding a press conference. I'm just saying that the idea that because
something like that, I could see that. I could see.
How does the Smithsonian control archaeologists worldwide? That doesn't make any sense.
I get it. I get it, but it's fascinating to me, and I want to see the bones. I want to see these giants.
What you can do is P.T. Barnum had an idea, and he's got another place right next to the giant bones. It's the giant egress. So you can go find that as well, because that's about as likely. I'm just saying.
I don't trust the federal government, so anything's possible.
I also don't trust anybody that says we have bones of giants in the Smithsonian is hiding.
Oh, there were giants. I'll have a better story coming up.
Whatever happened to the Egyptian plains?
There were dinosaurs.
Are we just moving on?
Those are real. Yeah, those are real.
Oh my!
I'll try to bring more next hour. Those definitely are real. And they followed your girl a lot. Sharks at the Avs tonight.
Keep going.
Nuggets lose to the Pistons. 124 to 121 on the road. Man, I'm telling you, you're going to apologize to me one day. Nuggets lose to the Pistons 124-121 on the road in Detroit, and at the Knicks tonight at 5 o'clock at the Garden. 28 in the Springs, 26 in Denver. More of the Jeff and Bill Show coming up on News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver, and now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer in Colorado Springs, all along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Good morning, folks, and a very good Wednesday to everyone. Your KNUS forecast calls for cool and dry, pleasant wintertime and early February weather conditions here today on the backside of yesterday's small weather system. Going to be looking at clear to mostly clear skies and temperature readings running several degrees above average. High pressure going to expand across the western United States then over the next several days and start to shift eastward. And this is going to keep ourselves all across the Front Range and central Colorado in a very mild, a well above average temperature pattern and also a dry temperature pattern. Highs today near 50 for the Denver metro area and Colorado Springs. Nighttime lows in the upper 20s and lower 30s. Middle to a few upper 60s for highs then for the metro area as we work our way into Thursday, Friday, and this weekend with low 60s for the Colorado Springs area and nighttime lows low to mid 30s. I'm meteorologist Mark Huer in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS here in Denver.
And we're giving a big shout out and a welcome to all of our new listeners up in Colorado Springs. Good morning from AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer.
All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show. All right, so let's go to the phone lines. We have joining us the Assistant Minority Leader for the Republicans down at the Colorado State Capitol, Ty Winter. Good morning, Representative. Thank you for joining the Jeff and Bill Show.
Yeah, good morning and thanks.
Good morning, fellas. Thanks for having me. It's always good to be on with you both.
Well, we have expanded the show. It's now reaching down into Colorado Springs, the two largest cities, syndicated here on the Jeff and Bill Show. So give us an update on what's happening at the state capitol. I'm seeing videos and frustration and all that. Give us some insights, Mr. Assistant Minority Leader.
Awesome. Well, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to obviously outline the bad because we face a lot of that, but, I'll give you guys some good for sure. I think some of the main frustration right now is what we're hearing that is coming. Most of the bills have hit. The rumor around the building is that a third of the legislation this year is going to be centered around energy and clean air, which is devastating for Colorado. As we've seen the, extinction of oil and gas essentially in this state, and with all the clean air legislation, it's, running business out. We have businesses come in here. They said that the Coca-Cola wants to put one of the largest plants in the state in Colorado, and the word on the street is Exhal don't think they can get them the energy based on what we're going through in the state. So, we're going to be fighting that to make sure we keep energy affordable and businesses in Colorado. The attack on the Second Amendment, you all know Senate Bill 4 is, one more disaster that we have to face, especially as a rural legislator. I mean, you're extending the ERPO. And, I have people in my district, it's hard to get them to go seek mental health treatment because they're tough, salt-of-the-earth people that they don't want their trucks seen outside of the clinic, and they don't want people to know they need help. And this is just now going to, push them from getting the help that they need because they're Second Amendment, God-fearing citizens that love the Second Amendment. And now if they want to go in and talk to somebody about what they might be facing, whether it's stress from the life they live or the job they have, it's going to keep them from doing that. So, that's been a mess as well. We saw a horrible bill get through committee, House Bill 261001, which basically strips local communities of control over basic land use and zoning decision, and it puts it to state bureaucrats and, certain local leaders. So we're seeing a huge attack once more on local control. You guys know about all the parental rights bills that are an attack on parental rights coming through this building, which was 1312 2.0, where custody could be decided on whether you affirm your child's gender or not. It's just pure insanity. I mean, people in Colorado are suffering. They can't afford groceries. They can't afford rent. I heard on the news today, I think it was Fox 31, they were given some statistics about how hard it just is. And then you guys followed up how hard it is for Coloradans just to make it. And we're talking about things like this, more infringing on your rights at the state capitol instead of working to make your life safer, your life better, and your life more affordable.
That man on fire right there is Ty Winter, the Assistant Minority Leader. That means he's the number 2 Republican down at the Colorado State Capitol, giving us some insight. Now, Representative, we've seen a lot of debates over ICE. Tom Homan just gave statements regarding pulling back some of the ICE agents if the state was willing to cooperate in Minnesota. And then we've seen the protest down at the state capitol, and I think it was yesterday or the day before, a whole bunch of messaging statements against ICE. Talk to us about the Democrat leadership down at the Colorado State Capitol and their positions towards immigration enforcement.
To be honest with you, Jeff, I don't even think it's leadership. I think it's, their caucus is the most fractured that it's ever been. And the ultra-progressives and the Democrat socialists, right now they're wagging the dog, if you want to put it that way. And, they're in an internal battle. And at the end of the day, we're seeing that play out on the House floor. You're 100% correct. That is the talk of the town in the building. And as we saw in special session, it's going to be basically anything against DDP. That's what's going to happen here. Donald Trump, there's derangement syndrome in this building. And, I think that Minority Leader Caldwell did a great job in his response when he talked about, law enforcement and ICE. I don't know if you guys saw it. I thought it was great. And he basically said, you have a president who was duly elected two different ways, electoral college and national popular vote, who ran on this issue. And he is basically enacting powers that Congress gave him to do the job he's supposed to. But then it comes down to what you're saying is we see the protests in the street, the footage that they put on TV. And I don't necessarily think the president has done anything wrong by doing some pivoting. I mean, putting body cams on officers, it usually benefits the officers, and it's going to show people what they're going through. And I mean, here's the deal is we believe investigation should be done. I mean, that's part of what America is making sure that, there's due process. So I think that, those things are right. And I think that people are still with him when it comes to getting people out of the country. I think where, like you said, some of the pivot is coming is from what people are seeing on TV. It makes them uncomfortable. And, but I think the president's going to keep doing what he was elected to do. And I think that one good thing about it is he understands that as the American public talks, as a leader, you have to listen to the American public, and they expect a little bit of a shift. And I think that he's doing what any duly elected official should, is listen to his people and make adjustments where need be.
That's Ty Winter, Assistant Minority Leader, on with Jeff and Bill, 710 KNUS and AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. Representative, why don't you think we've seen the hostility towards ICE in Colorado the same way it's played out in Minnesota?
To be honest with you, I think it's because they haven't, dropped 3,000 agents within the city of Denver. I truly believe that you would see the same thing, unfortunately. And, I believe that us as American citizens, we have the ability to redress, and air our grievances with the government. But there's a way to do that. We peacefully assemble and we redress those grievances. I think that, there would be the possibility of that. You all remember the Summer of Love in Denver. Actually, there's pictures around this building of a bullet hole in the window and rocks that were thrown at the state building and bricks. You all had seen that and were here for that. I just don't hope it don't turn into that. I love this country and I love this state. I don't want us to see us divulge into chaos. We're the greatest nation on the face of the planet. And I think that that's the hard part about this is we watch a lot of narrative come out that this is such a bad place and it's filled with bad people. And it just breaks my heart because of all the men and women that have died from this country. I mean, from the American Revolution to the Civil War to make this a more perfect union and republic. And I don't want to see us divulge into chaos. I don't want us to be another third world country. And I think that's why most of us fight. I love fighting for my people. And I know the rest of the representatives do because we believe in this republic. We believe in that flag. We believe in the founders. We believe in our people or we wouldn't be doing this. So, Jeff, unfortunately, I think it's a possibility. That's what could happen. But I pray to God it doesn't, not only for our kids to not see it on TV, but, our nation needs to heal. We're stronger together. We can't forget the wise words of our founding fathers. And, united we stand, divided we fall. We just got to find that way to be united while preserving what is ours and preserving this country. So we have to draw the hard line on a lot of things, but we also have to make sure that we can keep this republic a republic.
That's Ty Winter, Colorado Assistant Minority Leader, joining the Jeff and Bill show this morning, talking about the landscape down at the legislature. I want to talk to you, some behind-the-scenes conversations, just your feeling of the landscape down there, Representative Winter. And what I'm looking at is some of the bills that the Democrats are running, I find curious because we just held special session. We had some problems during the last session about the budget deficit inside of Colorado. And what I'm really curious about, and in all honesty, getting a little upset about, is I'm seeing Democrat legislators, and to a much smaller extent, some Republican legislators, running what I believe are, I'll term, social engineering bills. And it's like the transgender rights bill that you are talking about. I am of the opinion, and I hope that I'm reflecting a lot of the listeners, both here on KNUS and The Answer in Colorado Springs, that if our families had a pretty big budget hole and there were other social issues inside of the family, maybe one kid didn't like a teacher, wanted to switch schools, or there were some other problems we were having, that maybe we'd focused on the dollars and cents to fix that hole first. Where I'm going with this, Why in the wide, wide world of sports aren't 98% of the bills that are being floated at the legislature right now about fixing the budget hole? Why are we dealing with any social engineering or virtue signaling stuff at all?
You're right. I mean, the structural deficit is huge. And, of course, they blame that on, the big, beautiful bill, which, anybody in Colorado that's paying attention knows that that isn't true. And you're 100% correct, Bill. I mean, look at it this way. We definitely saw that during special session. We were supposed to cut, and then we spent $700 million. And when I say we, I mean them, spent $700 million over the next 3 years. And you're right. I mean, we're facing a structural deficit. We have to make cuts in this building. I always say all the time, we don't have a revenue problem. We have a priority problem. And if we really got our priorities straight, I think we could close that gap and be somewhat fiscally solvent. And then, you're right. A lot of these bills, and the problem is, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, I think we do a good job of getting the word out about all the bad bills that are coming. But I don't think that all of us do a very good job about getting people here to testify on the really good bills that we're running. I very seldom do this, but, I'm going to toot my own horn. Me and Senator Byron Pelton are running House Bill 261048, and it's a back-to-school sales tax holiday. Is it a huge impact? Not really when you look at the dollars and cents, but to a family, it's huge. And that's where on the last weekend in July, the state would have 48 hours where you could go buy school clothes and some school supplies without state sales tax. And inside that, your local government, your county and municipality could do the same to extend that savings through their sales tax. To me, those are the things that we should be working on, that extra $1, $2, $10 in a family's budget. I mean, Rep. Gonzalez, another one, the Cottage Food Act. Basically, he wants to make it to where small home-based food businesses and local entrepreneurs have more freedom and less red tape. That way that they can be a part of the economy and make homemade foods. I mean, and remove like outdated $10,000 revenue caps on them. I mean, this to me is community. This to me is growing a community and having a better, fiscal outcome in your community. And I think that's the thing that I ask you all is please, listeners, go to our website, www.coloradohouserepublicans.com. Sign up for our newsletter that outlines the bad bills, but the good bills as well. There's a link in there, how to testify. I think those things are important because I would love to see Rep. Gonzalez's bill get through to help these small home entrepreneurs. I would love to see mine and Senator Pelton's bill get through. That way families get that tiny little bit of relief when it comes to that sales tax holiday. But we need people to come and testify on those and be just as passionate about those as they are about the bad ones. So I want to say that you are right. There are a lot of social engineering bills coming out. There's a lot of stuff that at the end of the day really don't mean a hill of beans to anybody when they can't afford meat or heat or if they can't put gas in the car. And I know that sometimes Republicans, we have to run those bills that we know that are going to hit the meat grinder up here because our people need to come and speak and we need to get our frustrations out. But I will say, Republicans have been very thoughtful, and I urge people to go through the legislation that we're running because we are working on affordability, safety, knocking down crime, parental rights, fiscal responsibility, help to small business, help to energy. And I think we're in a great space right now. I mean, you have a time when Republicans and labor are working together because labor is tired of watching their jobs get cut, whether you work at the energy plant in Craig or in Pueblo, or if you're a pipe fitter, or if you're an electrical worker. They're tired of watching a state legislature drive their industries out and driving businesses out that hire them. And I think this is a time, and we saw the president do this. He created the big tent politics. I mean, I think J.D. Vance right before Christmas, he even did an interview that said, the president and I have created this movement. It's the party of big tent politics. No more purity tests, no more BS. Let's bring in our partners and let's make this country great again. And I think that's one thing we need to do at the state capitol. I think there's times that we need to put down our swords. We need to find these relationships like we're building with labor to say, we're going to agree on some things. We're going to disagree on others. But where we can get together to save the economy of the state, save your good-paying jobs, that's the goal we should be working at. And that's what we should be doing for Coloradans. And that's been my commitment since I've got elected. I'm going to call it out bad on either side. Because at the end of the day, I represent 88,000 people. They're tired of the fighting. They're tired of the bickering. They're doing exactly what you said, Jeff. They're looking for real solutions to real-life problems. And to get that done, that means we're going to have to double down on the really, really bad that affect our communities. But we're going to have to make sure that we can work with partners that are going to help us move this agenda forward. because it's not about me. It's not about them. It's about the people of Colorado.
It's Representative Ty Winter, Assistant Minority Leader. Speaking of that, of the swords and the disunity and the fighting, one of our listeners sent us Richard Holtorf's resignation letter from the GOP, Colorado GOP vice chair position. He writes, as matters of the state Republican Party, I've attempted to work and advise the chair on matters of critical importance, spending thousands of volunteer hours on phone calls, emails, text streams, traveling to and from meetings, attempting to lead, communicate, and rebuild our fractured party. Regrettably, as with my predecessor, I have found it impossible to work with the chair in the capacity as vice chair. Representative Winter, you're part of the Republican Party leadership. What's happening here?
To be honest with you, Jeff, I know we're part of leadership. We work with them, but it's one of those things I guess we don't work as in direct contact as I guess that you would not expect or see. Right now we're in this fight. I didn't even know this was going to happen until just now when you told me about it. I really don't peruse social media or anything like that. At the end of the day, we've got to find a way to move forward. I'm not going to make an excuse for anybody. I'm not going to admonish anybody. We've got to find a way to move forward. We are in an opportunity in this state where, what I was talking about earlier, things are bad for people, and they're looking for adults in the room to lead them. They are looking for leadership. They are looking for people to step up, do the yeoman's work, and toe the line for them. So we've got to figure it out. I don't have any answers for you. I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I think what we need to do is we need to all get in a room and sit down like adults and have a conversation and stop with the I gotcha moments and you're too weak, you're too strong. We've got an opportunity. And right now we have a divided Democrat caucus. We have a party who drove this state into the depths, and we're beating each other up when we have one of the most opportune times. And what makes it hard is we always say we got to fundraise more. We got to get out on the streets more. Well, to do those things, we got to quit beating each other up and start working as a team. I wished I could tell you how to fix it. If I could tell you how to fix it, I'd bottle it up and sell it, and I'd make sure to give the state party a bottle for free. But I can't do that, sir. So all I think we do is we got to look at ourselves in the mirror. We got to drive a stake in the ground. We got to make a stand, and we got to move forward to do better. Do better for our party, do better for our constituents. And, like I said, though, I won't admonish anybody in current leadership or past leadership. I'm not going to be part of what perpetuates that. All my commitment is to you gentlemen is I'm going to fight like hell for you and the people of Colorado at the State House. I'm going to fight to make sure that our brand survives because I believe that the Republican Party has the solutions to the problems. I believe we can make life more affordable. I believe we can reduce crime. I believe we can make streets safer. I believe that we can defend parental rights. Those are the things that we need to focus on, and we need to find out how to get everybody else on board. And we need to, like I said before, united we stand, divided we fall. We've got to figure it out, and that's all I have for you.
That's Rep. Ty Winter, Assistant Minority Leader. Have you picked a Republican candidate for governor? Is there anyone you're standing with?
Sir, I'm going to be honest with you. I had a wise friend when I first got involved in this game told me, Ty, you don't ever make predictions, and you don't ever do crazy endorsements. At the end of the day, we'll get through the primary, and we'll push behind the candidate that gets it done. I think we have a lot of talent. I think that there's a lot of candidates that bring a lot of different things to the table. My only hope is when this candidate emerges from the pack, that everybody else that ran against them finds a way to get behind them, once again puts down the swords, and we all start pushing in the same direction. Like I said, we've got to stop this beating each other up. So I do not have one. I think there's talent there. And when the time comes, sir, you know me, I'll be in the fight and get behind them.
Representative Ty Winter. You can follow him on X at x.com/Rep. Ty Winter, number 2 in charge, Assistant Minority Leader down at the Colorado State Capitol. We thank you for your time providing analysis of what's happening within the conservative Republican movement in Colorado, as well as the battles you're facing down at the Colorado State Capitol. Keep up the good work, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. No, God bless you guys. God bless Colorado. And when you get a chance, come down and visit us. We'd love to see you down here.
They need as many friends as they can get with all the socialists there. All right, Representative Winter, thank you for your time. All right, feel free to jump in the conversation. Would love to hear from you. Here's the phone line, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Let's talk advanced hair restoration. How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I could achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident, more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there's no one I trust more in hair restoration. Their simple FUE treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. Simply put, Advanced Hair's exceptional standard of care makes your comfort and your results their top priority. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. 720-459-HAIR. Discover what meeting your resolution could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com. All right. Goodness. Breaking news. Hadn't even reached the assistant minority leader yet. That's because Joan from Lakewood always has the latest happenings within the Republican Party. But Richard Holtorf, friend of the program, on regularly. Yep. And in fact, made news when he was on the show when he was running against Lauren Boebert.
Yes, we made news with that one.
Vice Chair has resigned his role with the Colorado GOP.
Got a question for you on that one.
Yes.
When we're reading it, starts off, the beginning and then talks about a break with leadership. I find that interesting simply because all of us that have been employed in the corporate world, based on the email that goes out when someone leaves the group, you can totally tell what happened. When the company sends out the email, it says, so-and-so is no longer working here. We wish them well in their best endeavors. Yeah, they were fired. We all know that. And so I find it interesting in this one that Holtorf takes the opportunity to throw rocks. He has the opportunity not to just bow out and say, I hope everyone does well. I appreciate my time, and wish the people left in leadership, but he doesn't. Now, this is one of the reasons we like Richard a lot, because he does these kind of things, but it's interesting that he chose the moment.
We know he likes to throw rocks.
Yes, we do.
Against everybody he's running against. But
And you've got more of this political strategery experience than I do. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the idea that he chose to do this?
There's an entire world that lives out there of infighting within the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I really can't be a part of it, mostly because, for me, the great destroyers of the state are not other Republicans. They're Democrats. And so we need to stay focused, like Ty said, on the real challenges down at the state capitol and the infighting that often happens. I remember when I worked for the state party, I worked for Ryan Call back in 2013 and into parts of 2014. And even then he had to deal with it constantly, all the time. So it's like it comes with the game. But is it helpful? I'm kind of with Ty Winter, where I'm like, dude, we got guys that are just driving up our deficit, ruining our lives down at the state capitol.
Yeah.
Let's go figure out a way to deal with that, as opposed to, all these procedural battles that take place within the state party.
And part of it seems like when Holtorf is doing this, and I appreciate him being a rock thrower. I like that because I'm kind of wired that way myself. But it reminds me somewhat of a player who is leaving their chosen NFL, NBA, NHL or baseball team and says, oh, yeah, well, the coach sucks. Yeah, the trainers are awful. And, oh, yeah, you fans, I got 2 fingers for you. Bye-bye, suckers.
Yep.
Yeah, it reflects that way.
A little bit of that. Well, Holtorf's a spicy individual, meatball sometimes. All right, more of the Jeff and Bill Show coming up. News Talk 710. KNUS in Denver.
And now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver.
And now giving out a big welcome to our new listeners on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer in Colorado Springs. Thanks for waking up with us.
Glad to have you here with us. Joining us live in studio, the infamous, world famous from the top row, Peter Boyle.
Nice hat, you guys. You got old man shoes on. Billy's wearing glasses.
Yeah.
It's taking a toll.
Yeah, we were doing the old man thing before during the break. We're sitting there going, "Hey, we all get kind of the same shoes, the little slippy-on things, and talking about changing in prescriptions and everything else."
Exactly.
Yeah,
Listen, I heard this is taking a toll on you guys.
yes, it has.
I try to warn you.
Pete, preview your show for us. Who do you got Saturday from 9 to 1, 710 KNUS?
Yeah, thank you, fellas. At 11 o'clock in studio, legendary radio. He ran Kim during the salad days of Kim, and then he took KHOW radio when it was, again, back in the day, Hal and Charlie and everything that happened. A guy named Steve Keeney. And he's a contemporary of your dad's, and he's a legend. So he's coming into studio at 11 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, and this is going to be interesting, there is this young man who goes by the on-air name of Free, F-R-E-E, and he is challenging Victor Marx. And as I'm sure both of you know, there's a lot of questions about Victor Marx. I've never met the guy. I don't know anything about him except what was a great line. I don't know anything except what I hear and what I read. And Marx is at best, he's getting a lot of attention running for governor on a Republican ticket. I know, Jeff, I know you know him.
Yep.
I don't know him. Mm-hmm. But this fella has some interesting things to say and actually is making a challenge. Mm-hmm. And so he's going to be a Zoom call with us at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, and we'll see where it goes. Mm-hmm. So those are, it's going to be one of those shows that, it starts at this side and ends on that side. But anyhow, so I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see what happens.
I'm going through Victor's book right now, Dangerous Gentleman.
Yeah, I saw the
know
book.
You're a reader. Have you had a chance to look at the book?
No, but I've seen the video.
Yeah. He very much says in his book, and I've read lots of politicians' books. I think it's important. I think it gives you insight into who they are. For instance, Kamala Harris loved committees, right? You learn that from her
book.
I
read her book.
Yeah, you did too, right? Where she's like, any problem she feels she's solved if she created a committee. I went down to we have this border crisis. I'm going to create a committee, that type of thing. Donald Trump, you can understand very easily by just reading The Art of the Deal. Yeah. I mean, he hasn't changed at all.
And remember, that was written by another guy. That was that was Donald's ghost. And he came to Trump. He had written a critical article about Trump, and Trump brought him into his office and said, look, I want to do a book. And the guy said, well, I just wrote something critical about you. And Trump said, no, I want you to do the book. And he did.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it gives you insight into how Trump thinks and stuff like that. So Victor Marx, in his book, The Dangerous Gentleman, says, look, I'm not a big 5-year goal strategy planner. I wake up every day and I ask the Lord, what do you want me to do today? And some days he's like, head off to Afghanistan or head off to Burma and go teach guys to fight knives there. And so Victor Marx very much comes across as a guy that's just embraces whatever adventures ahead of him. And I think that kind of makes it hard to track because you're like, you were in Burma teaching guys with knives, then you're in Iraq rescuing sex traffickers. So you're like, wow, you were jumping all over.
Someone said that, and I don't know this, that he had gone to Haiti.
Yeah, there was something like that it was written as well, that he had gone to Haiti and was doing something there. But then there's also, and what I have a problem with figuring out, and again, I haven't done a deep dive on him, is figuring out this cross-reference to where he seems to be doing this sort of outreach or almost like rescue or human trafficking-esque work, and then also there's this missionary work. And I can't figure out when or how the two blend. That sometimes I'm out there spreading the word, other times it's out there trying to help people escape from X, Y, or Z. It's a weird one.
Well, this fellow Free has a story that's not Not, I mean, I've heard
Well,
the story. I'll
gonna have to tell you. Don't say anything right now.
No,
I
of
tune
course.
in at 9.
And no,
Make sure
I
everybody
won't.
tunes in at 9.
But,
yeah.
but if he went to Haiti, if Victor Marx went to Haiti after the quake, I was in Haiti right after the quake. Kenny Danon and myself. I want to know how you got into Haiti, and I don't know. I want to know where you stayed. That was the only questions I had. That was an interesting experience for us. We stayed on the roof of an orphanage in Port-au-Prince, and because of some people helped us do that, and we got the green light to get tickets to fly. There was one flight a day into Port-au-Prince and out. So I'd like to have a conversation with him about Haiti, because that was a nightmare. So
yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you should have Victor on as well at some point.
Listen,
That would
I've
be
tried.
great, so.
And what Adam told me is that his spokesperson said, we don't know who Peter Boyles is. I said, okay.
We'll help him. We'll help him understand.
But that's what I was told. But
yeah, it's this interesting form of mission work, Bill, where most of us think of mission work like my kids do mission work, right? You're going to go build. I did mission work. You're going to go build an orphanage. You're going to go help lead kids programs, stuff like that. All right, well, there's, for instance, I'm in chapter 3 or 4 of his book right now, Yazidi women who have been raped and tortured by ISIS in Iraq. And he has a background in helping people with PTSD, so he will fly to Iraq with groups of people to help Yazidi women deal with the PTSD and the trauma of being raped by ISIS and recover from it. Well, if you're going to do that, you need to wear tactical vests and you need to bring guns with you. And so the form of missionary work looks a lot different than what we may be used to. But that's what I'm understanding. But I recommend reading this book. But you're going to dive into this issue on Saturday.
yeah, I only know what I've watched in a lot of videos on the internet, Victor Marx videos, and then what I've read. And he has an interesting side life in martial arts. Yeah. And I have some friends that have some questions about that. Yeah. And
the thing that I'm kind of coming with is the campaign so far, and I'm curious to see if it will change or not, is I see a lot of commonalities between the campaign that Victor is currently running and the campaign that Kamala Harris ran. And what I mean by that is mostly vibes. And I heard a lot of critique of Kamala Harris in the last election cycle about she's just talking about vibes. She's talking about feelings. She's talking about the fact that we need leadership and we're going to have these commissions and we're going to look into it. And what we have to do is have the right person in the job. And I'm hearing a lot of that same type of phrasing in Marx's campaign. I see only surface policies. And the critique I have and question I have right now is, if it was such a bad thing for Kamala to be running on vibes, why are we jumping on the bandwagon of Victor Marx, who first impression so far seems to be running on vibes? Why is it okay for some but not okay for others? I just find that weird.
I can't answer that. I read Vice President's book, and the most interesting part of the book was on a Saturday she's making pancakes, I think, and pancakes and strawberries, in fact, with her grandchildren. And the phone rings.
Her nieces.
Nieces, I'm sorry. And the phone rings, and it's Joe Biden. I'm not running.
Yeah, I'm not running.
It's all yours.
Yeah, tag,
Good
you're
luck.
it.
I mean, which sets up this entire, who forced Joe Biden out?
Yeah.
And that's one of the unanswered questions. And was it
George Clooney?
Well, was it Clooney? Was it Obama? Was it, and who held the...
Now, the story that he tells is that, and again, we don't have a lot of the back-end pressure because we know it was there, but he still wants to own the decision. And so the story that Biden tells is that there's one morning where he wakes up and realizes that he just doesn't have the gas in the tank.
Yeah.
But given the fact that he had done everything else to be in that position previously, you're right. Somebody there convinced him, and rather than him going, I just don't think I got it, I feel he woke up and he's like, yeah, maybe they're right.
I think Dr. Jill said he's not running.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
That's what I think happened. Yeah.
Peter Boyles will be live this Saturday, 9 to 1, the hottest show on Saturday, 710 KNUS.
And congratulations on going to the Springs. I think that's great.
We are so excited.
Great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, we'll continue more of the Jeff and Bill Show coming up. News Talk 710, KNUS in Denver.
And as Pete just said, now we are on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. Thank you so much for getting up with us and hanging out a little bit. We appreciate you. All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show.
Pete's showing me his karate pictures.
Oh, good.
Which are awesome.
Because if you would have stopped that
the guy
sentence,
was jacked.
If you would have stopped that sentence
He had
earlier,
some
I would be
muscles.
really worried. just
showing
just
me
don't-
his pictures.
I don't. Yeah, again, there's so many questions. I just don't know.
He's looking good.
Yeah, here's my recent colonoscopy. Have you seen?
He was strong, man.
Oh, yeah, dude, he
I
was
got
strong.
to yellow belt. Isn't that one up from white,
Yeah.
yellow, and then I quit.
Yeah, I got to
Not my sport.
I got to brown in Shotokan, but I got one of my kids that went to red belt in kung fu, and another one that's actually first degree black belt. That was fun to watch.
Wait, you have one? One
no,
of your sons?
one of my kids. Yeah, one of my
is
kids. Yeah,
first degree?
Yeah, first degree black belt in kung fu. Yeah.
All right. So
and-
if you are a ninja
Ooh, yeah.
out on the streets, you got to get your modern rugged leather bag. From city streets to mountain trails, your gear should go wherever life takes you, and that's why at Modern Rugged, every bag is handcrafted from premium, responsibly sourced leather, designed to look sharp, last long, and tell a story of its own. Guys, this is the most beautiful bag I've ever owned. I don't even feel right owning it because everything I bought before was cheap. Each stitch, buckle, and strap reflects timeless craftsmanship and is backed by a lifetime warranty because quality shouldn't quit when the adventure begins. Whether it's the boardroom or the back roads, Modern Rugged Leather helps you carry confidence every step of the way. Modern Rugged Leather, modern style, timeless durability, backed for life. Look, life's going to take you places. Make sure your gear keeps up. Shop the full collection. Find yours today at modernrugged.com. Again, that's modernrugged.com. You'll fall in love with them. They're absolutely wonderful. All right. Love to hear from you. Feel free to join the conversation. Phone lines open. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. More of the Jeff and Bill Show coming up. News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver.
And now on The Answer in Colorado Springs.